for the nice, amazing work they've done. So what we have here, first of all, most of you already know that there's an elder introduced into the game. Another very nice thing there, 32 new maps, including 2 of them uniques. 32, that's a hell of a lot of maps there. So there's new elder guardians if you possess the elder on your atlas. So that's the thing there. So basically, what this expansion is there, they've been focusing mainly on the wall pact. So the wall pact's been changed now. He's no longer grants the instant leech. What it does now, it just doubles the your normal leech. So let me go through it all really quick. Just a quick introduction. What's going on here? So there's new maps added in. There's been new quests added in the Act 9. 48 new unique items. New divination cards designed by supporters. Some nice badass skills like Unearth. So that's a corpse. You're shooting a projectile that leaves a corpse on the ground. Some cremation that explodes the corpses in the area. Body swap, the nice new way of moving to the content. That's a movement skill there. Basically what it does is your body explodes and it appears on the corpse and dealing damage both ways. So that's really cool here. The other thing is volatile dead. So what it does, it basically corpses nearby exploding, dealing spell damage in a large area. This is really cool. What I've been looking for actually for marriage archer support. This skill is really badass. So you have to check all the skill, guys. It's really amazing. The other thing I wanted to mention, that the vulnerability has been split into 2 champs, as you can see here. So now there's a vulnerability and despair. So this vulnerability is still viable. So this is a strength skill, and despair now is an intel skill here. So the despair, what it does, it curses all the targets in the area, making them less resistant to chaos. So this is the first time introduced the chaos damage resistant mitigator there. So that's really nice. It's amazing, like how GGG approached all of that here. The other thing, what they did here, so the wall pact is gone, right? They introduced some new region nodes on the skill tree, which is skill tree is gonna be reduced tomorrow. What they were thinking, like, okay, we're gonna remove the wall pact, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna increase some region in the items themselves. So the base region on the items is going up to 20 per second from, I think that was 6 or 7 max. So that's a huge boost. Just because of that, they were thinking that's okay. There's gonna be a huge boost for the Righteous Fire's builds, right? So the Righteous Fire, Rise of the Phoenix, is getting nerfed too, but it reduces only 3% of 3% of the max fire resistance that you can get, but it increases the flat region it provides, so that is 40 to 60%, not percent, the flat rate, I mean. So this is really cool. What else we have here? Some nice skills. So basically, the storm, um, some skills being changed, reworked as well. Um, so the wall support is really cool feature added in. So it adds 2 more projectiles that goes in the parallel. So yeah, just guys, check it out. It's the skills is amazing. Probably everybody will be trying them out and finding new builds. Cascade is really cool. What else there we have? Some new unique strongbox being added in the game, so we'll be seeing it there. A new Rogue Exile being added in as well on the winner of the best dressed. So the best dressed winner Exile was a cold skeleton with a purple gun, purple axe, I think that was, and a purple footprints, which were really cool looking. Right, so going further there, what the Abyss Challenge League will provide in this huge expansion. So, challenge leagues are a great opportunity for a fresh start in new economy. That's obvious, right? And what we have here next. So the mechanics added in the Abyss. So the players will encounter the cracks in the ground, right? When you get closer to them, the cracks widen up and they spread, allowing the monsters like climb out of the cracks themselves. So if you're gonna come closer and attract more of the monsters, so it will increase the density that people were requiring. There's also a nice feature added in the game. So basically it's gonna be a reward after you're gonna kill those monsters. So the longer you stay, the deadlier it gets, and it can drop out the chest at the end with a valuable reward in it. Right, the other thing, it's gonna be some bosses there, as you can see. So exploring the abyssal depths in the high levels area might result in encounters with the Lich boss. So only in the abyssal depths you will be granted the abyssal unique items that's coming out in this patch, and there's a lot of them. There was 48 new uniques added in the game, right? Including the jewelers as well. So the monsters in the chest from Abyss can drop jewelers. So like the other jewelers, these can be placed in the sockets in your passive tree, granting powerful bonuses, right? So unlike other jewelers, these jewelers from the depths, they have a set of exclusive new properties and can also be placed in abyssal sockets on your items. So basically it's gonna be socketed only on abyssal unique items, as I understand here. So these sockets can be found on the abyssal uniques and a new base type of abyssal socketed belt, the Stygian Wise. Right. What else we have here? So the 40 new challenges. Really nice, badass helmet, and just amazing work on the portal there. So if you want to get this nice portal, you have to complete 36 challenges, with challenges being improved as well. So overall, a lot of changes in the game. First of all, the atlas been changed, the boss has been rearranged, so don't be surprised if you come on the familiar map and the bosses will be absolutely different there. So what I try to do in this expansion particularly, they try to rework everything, try to balance the game out, give it a new twist, just give you a new nice feeling of the gameplay. There's a lot of fixes been done, um, a lot of time invested in the looking and the bugs and stuff like that. For instance, the Kitaba one shots, so the Kitaba X is doing less damage. Now the arc is properly targeting the Kitaba. The other spells that couldn't hit the Kitaba, like Flame Surge or other close range targets, particularly if you come on the sides of the Kitaba, so the skills not always been hitting him. So targeting skills being improved. So against Kitaba and other large bosses here. What else we have? So updated item frames to fit the current. So yeah, that's the thing. So we're getting new stash models. Shiny, yeah, very shiny. I like that. What else we have here? Sorry there, let's just make it a bit quieter in case it interrupts the video here. What else important in here I wanted to mention? So these new divination cards coming out as well, right? Some visual effects of the monsters being improved. The values of elements such as shock and chill effectiveness been modified or looked into. So the chill, the cold skills now can freeze the bosses like Shaper and Aziri and probably everything else in the game right now. So there's a big boost on the cold skills as well, which is very nice because I haven't seen a proper cold build in a while. What else we have here? So this user interface has been changed. A lot of new features added in for the new players to follow the game. You can easily leave the party right now just by clicking on the person on your left hand screen, which wasn't there before. You should have pressed S and go down to the character party and leave it that while. So newer players actually couldn't leave the party at all. Like you had to figure out how to get to that. So that's one thing sorted, and that's a big plus here. There's a lot of features added in, how the buffs is displayed, how long the potions, like basically how long, how the cooldown on the potions, right? So you can basically see now the cooldown on the potions, which is another nice feature there. Other important things I wanted to mention was the nerfs, right? So the most important thing has been done to the Dark Pact that I wanted to mention. So A lot of people saying that Dark Pact's been nerfed severely, right? Because it no longer grants bonus radius when you're using the life, because you could have like shot everything on your screen basically, right? Um, so the damage bonus has been reduced as well, down from 95 to 60, 76, sorry. So that is quite a bit, but all that is done that players would try newer ways of playing the build, because the build itself it's never been like it's never been intended playing on your own life. It's been intended playing with your skeletons, right? So that's what GGG were trying to do in this patch particularly. They boosted the skeletons. So the summoned skeletons now have 50% more added damage multiplier, up from 30 less added damage, right? So this is a huge boost on the skeletons. So that how the Dark Pact's been being buffed as well. So it would, what's the word? Add another build for the Dark Pact, which is very nice in my opinion. Other things like Detonate Dead's been buffed severely. um, Stormburst been reworked. Charge Dash been nerfed, or maybe not. I don't even know what's that. So Charge Dash is now limited to a maximum of 15 strikes per skill use, as well as limited by distance travel. That's it's a nerf or both. It's really hard to say. So static strike radius has been increased. So static strike's been buffed again. Been, been buffed a couple of times. The other thing I wanted to mention, that Iron Will has been buffed as well. Wait a second, I'm trying to find it there. Um, so Raging Spirits has less added damage multiplier. Right. What else we have here? Very nice. So Lightning Trendles has been reworked as well. So what it does, it deals more damage every fourth pulse. And you can not longer use the Ruthless support gem. It probably they were thinking like, okay, we're gonna boost Trandals, right? But people will be using with the Ruthless, and every third and fourth shot will be dealing massive amounts of damage. So they were like, okay, no, the Ruthless is gone from the channel skins, right? So Cyclone is no longer supported with the Ruthless as well. So here we go. Iron Will can now support Summon Skeletons. So there's a double buff on the Skeletons there. So Skeleton Mages will be a huge thing in this new league, and we'll probably be seeing them running around. So another thing, Arctic camera chilling is increased in this, so the slow is up 20%. The melee multi-strike, multi-strike's been reworked, right? So it's really hard to say how it's working here. So multi-strike now more accurately take attack range. So it basically takes into account when checking for targets for substantial attack. So it basically probably picking up the mobs that are more closer to the target first, in my opinion, because it was random before. Anyway, that's really hard to tell. You have to try it out for yourself. There's another thing really important. So wall power shape on radius has been reduced drastically here from 120 to 70, so you will no longer be able to one-shot whole screen anymore. It's still a really powerful build, but um, not so efficient. So that's being fixed, right? Because it was ridiculous, like earthquakes being buffed, ice crash being buffed, reef's radius increased. Mm, it's still not a good skill gem to go on, in my opinion. What else we have here? Some item balances. So life region mods been added, and 2 higher tiers been added on skill tree as well. So the life regeneration itself has been buffed to compensate for the wall pact. And what else we have here? Bum. So there's a couple of unique items been nerfed as well, like Azeri Query. It no longer provides the instant leech from critical strikes, right? Um, some Witch Brew now creates a despair instead of the vulnerability. So the vulnerability and despair have been split into two. Uh, what's there? The other important things. Lion's Roar no longer gives the physical damage buff there. It only provides the knockup effect. Rate. Two other important things. So the Biscos rarity has been increased. So we'll be seeing a lot less Biscos drops, right? Because everybody had one drop in the league, I suppose, if you played long enough. So the other thing, Queen of the Forest being nerfed severely. So it now provides 204 to 240% increased evasion, down from 240 to 380. So that is a huge thing. But a lot of people are complaining why it's been done. In my opinion, this item was broken and people could have reached 903 movement speed. So with one click you could have run across half map with this huge movement speed, and it's just not how this game was designed to do. And people were running labs in 2 minutes. Like, this is crazy, man, right? Skipping all the content, and this is just not right. So that's been fixed. So the Rise of the Phoenix again. What else there important I wanted to mention quickly here. So that oath now updates behavior properly because some skills didn't work with it right. Um, some monster balances. There's a lot of monsters. I don't even know who they are or what they do and how they look like. But there's a huge time invested in all of that. So there's a lot of new mobs been added in the maps that we didn't see before from the Act 6, 7 and so on. Um, Another thing that's been adjusted, so the mob density in the thicker, narrower maps like Tropical Island, for instance. So there's no longer juicy packs down there, and all the juicy packs being added in the more curvy maps like cells to compensate for the time spent in the map, right? So that's a little balance so the people would actually play different maps, I guess. Because, they've looked into statistics and this huge outnumber and differences in the maps played. So, for instance, other maps like Cells and other Kirby maps were played like 20,000, maybe more, 100,000 times. And maps like Oasis were played 2 million times. So that's a huge difference in there. So just because of that, I wanted to fix this issue so the people would play more diverse maps in the game and would enjoy maps, that way here. So the map, some monster damage has been adjusted as well there. Um, the XP of the frozen mob kills been increased. For instance, the mobs that dropped parasites, and if you kill them while they were frozen, so they only provided the XP of the frozen guy and not the parasites. So they actually compensated the XP loss just because you don't get the mobs out of them that way, right? So um, the rarity of the parasites been um, adjusted to be the same as the rare map itself, right? What else here we have? Mhm. So yeah, the whole boss is the Shaper, the Guardians is no longer immune to freeze. So this is a huge buff, biff, death for the uh, frozen builds here. So the other important thing, the reflect has been reworked, right? So basically, there's no longer a reflect anymore. So the reflect physical and elemental damage now only appears in Nemesis mods, and the you're no longer gonna get the reflect of your own spell, but it would trigger the mortar spell targeted in your location. You'll be able to dodge it probably. I don't even know how it's gonna work, but we will see. And there's actually cooldown, so you won't be able to one-shot yourself again. So especially if you get reflected, right? So you have time to react because it's gonna be a cooldown on it. So that's the thing. It's gonna probably still hit you, right? But it won't hit as much to kill you that way here. Um, what else here? Some mob fixes, so some mobs move faster, and probably the other mobs were fleeing for no reason, so that was fixed as well. Um, what else here? So yeah, the lightning thorn skill. Uh, Basically, in the Act 3, if you remember, if you're an alt player, if you're not, so when you're going down to piety, right? There's the blackguards and the black mages. So the black mages were using the skill on the blackguards, which is called lightning thorns. So what this skill was doing is it was reflected the portion of the lightning damage back to you. Alright? So this skill is gone, and instead it's triggering now the Nova projectiles, which has a short cooldown as well. Just to tackle the reflected issue here, because probably the reflect was really the problem for some builds. Um, right? So what else we have here? Some bosses been um, reworked so that some of them can leap slam. Um, some damage has been adjusted, especially Katawa's damage. Some now Maligaro's slam is always poisoning and memes on hit. So there's not only nerfs to the bosses, but some buffs as well. Some new skills being added to the bosses. Um, Change the way they actually pursue you. Um, some captain like Artelli now can drop items, which he didn't drop the items at all. Alright, what else? They're really important. Hmm. Some nerfs. So Chevron's Ball Lightning deals more damage, and Chevron's Storm Burst fires an additional projectiles. So, and the books does more damage. So this the thing you have to be looking for if you remember the map Scriptorium. So that's the chevrons that's summoning the books that hit the ground after a while will deal 30 more percent of the damage. It was deadly back then, right? So it's gonna be thing to avoid in here. Um, some zombies is now a little quicker. Bandit allies now flee when he dies, right? Some reworks. There's a huge time spent looking into every single mob in the game, what they do, how they react. So the game itself would be more pleasant to play, and there's more interaction and stuff like that, which is very amazing. I'm very happy they spend that much time looking into it and just listening to the people what they wanted to do and just fixing all those bugs here. So the Katawa 6 blast damage has been lowered significantly because basically if you it's really hard to see when it's coming, right? Because it's coming so suddenly, and if there's other things going on like the splashes that's been firing around, and there's it's covering the ground, and there's X coming in your place, it's kind of one shot you, no doubt. So the damage has been lowered now. Yeah, right. What else here we have that's worth mentioning? Um, so the sin and innocence is a little bit more dynamic. Sorry, I wonder how dynamic they're gonna be. Are they gonna start dancing there, or just gonna be, more in a fight kinda, and not just stand there and look how you're fighting, and probably some Animations been added there as well. Um, anyway, so just moving on the maps. So the maps been reworked entirely. So the whole atlas been changed. Some names even changed in the maps. So they've been all rebalanced and some tiers been changed and swapped, bosses swapped and reworked. So I'm really looking forward to look how everything is playable there now, right now. And so yeah, so that's what I mentioned. The narrower linear maps will contain fewer total mobs than the complex layout ones, right? Also, map mods being rebalanced. Um, so that way you'll probably be able to play more mods and enjoy the game that way, right? Um, so some things like mods like reflect, if you would have seen the reflect mod, you just reroll the map itself, so that's been changed. So um, other mobs being rebalanced, so you'll be able to run the mods as well. And every mod now provides increased item rarity, increased item quantity, and monster pack size, which is very nice as well. The increased monster pack, some mods never gave that feature here, so probably increased mob pack size is we will be seeing more frequently here, um, which is very nice as well. Um, some monsters don't gain power charges. Malcon monsters. I don't even know what the monsters are like, but that's really doesn't matter here. Um, so the monsters from the Act 5 to 10 been added in the maps as well. Um, what else here? Bloodhounds gets further. Doesn't matter. Hmm. That thing. Raw map bosses now gain 33% of their maximum life whenever you break one of their nests. I wonder if you kill the nests before the fight, would the mob boss would have a increase of the 100% life? Or how it's gonna work, right? That's a arid lake map boss, but maybe it's gonna be changed. Maybe it's gonna appear. No, but it was it was down in that map, so it's probably gonna stay there. Um, so passive skill tree changes, so well packed, yeah. So as I said, the whole thing's been focused on the well packed in this patch. Um, another features and another thing I forgot to mention, it's been moved into duelist area. So that is very interesting. So for a witch, for instance, it's gonna be really hard to reach this node and probably won't be even worth going there. So in that case, maybe the CI builds will be back in the game. Hmm, I really wonder. So a lot of people now spending time figuring out what builds they want to play, um, what's out there right now, what's really powerful, what's not. So definitely will be trying the skeleton mage. Maybe not as a starter, but I'm gonna look at some videos, uh, what people been doing, uh, what type of items they've been using. I'll be getting some info and trying it for myself later on. So that's the thing to go, right? Um, Passive skill tree skills which previously granted increased melee physical damage while holding a shield now grant increased physical. So it's been changed from melee to physical. So there's gonna no longer melee damage, right? So this is all gonna be physical. So the one-handed character's been buffed here. So you know, because there's no longer a well pack, right? So they're trying to figure out how are we gonna boost the defenses, right? So there's one thing they're gonna boost like um physical damage, so they're gonna boost physical damage. Or another thing, many passive skill tree skills which previously only provided defenses while holding a shield now also grants a physical attack damage. So that's other like you know increase in a whole shield things. So the shield is getting more powerful, so the people would be using a shield as a kind of defense mechanism to compensate for the gone wall pack, right? Um, so the region is getting buffed, the shield's getting buffed, so probably the shield's getting back in the game. I will see. The skill tree is coming out probably after 3 hours, so I'll be looking at that very soon. Um, Removed one passive skill leading to Ash, Frost, and Storm, notable near the Cyan, right? So there's one passive skill gone. Brutus Slayer being nerfed and no longer grants 10% of maximum life per second to maximum life leech rate. That's very interesting here. So the leech rate has been lowered as well. Just, because again, it's all down to well facts. People gonna be looking for ways how to still get that insane amount of bleach, right, and sustain. So what the what the GGG is trying to do here, it's it's trying to increase the builds being played in the game, because everybody, if you would see the popularity of the build, is only like 5 playable builds right there, right? There's only 5 builds that people play, and that's it. So GGG tries to incorporate people trying more and more builds. So that's what I like very much about this expansion. So it actually reworked a lot of stuff in the game, so it's absolutely new game right now, right? So there's new monsters, there's new bosses, there's bosses being reworked, there's monsters being reworked. There's a lot of stuff being done here, which I'm very um, excited about, I have to say. Right, there's one quest being added as well, so I wonder what's gonna happen with the Pantheon power, right? Because the Pantheon power provided the how to say it, the reflect immunity, like not immunity, but 25% reduction, right? So probably it's being changed. And as we see, Shakari has been added to the Pantheon, right? So the map bosses you require to defeat to upgrade Pantheon have, for most part, changed. So they're not saying it right now. What's being changed? But mm, just mentioning that, right? Other things, labyrinth balance. Hmm. I myself been farming labyrinth for quite some time. This is really interesting for me. So added a new dark shrine, right? Juicy. Very nice. I wonder what's gonna be. So change the requirements for some chests to appear. In general, chests should feel more rewarding now and better suited for their level and difficulty. Hmm. So yeah, basically you'll be getting probably, I don't know what they are trying to say here. Like, is the items being adjusted? Like, what kind of items you're getting, or what kind of uniques you're getting, unique drops, or that's that's something to look into, right? Um, some increased total amount of items found on average from the silver chests. So there's more items definitely in the lab. The helmet chant, which was granted additional projectile for barrage, has been removed from the Merciless Labyrinth, and it's been nerfed down to one projectile from two in the Eternal or Uber Labyrinth, right? Alright, so that's the thing here from the lab. There's another really sad thing. It's coming from the Zana, right? There's a nice feature added in, which is the only thing to be looked into is Fortune Favors the Brave, which costs only 3 chaos to run and selects a Zana mode at a random of those available from the device, including any mods you have not unlocked yet. So in my understanding, right? So you spend 3 chaoses and you might be able to unlock the breaches there, which cost 6 cases, right? That's that's a really nice thing. So like it's kind of gamble here. You're gambling, so that's probably is gonna be most used in Zana mode in the game. So I don't know if you see, but there's one thing missing. That's right. There's no more headhunter from the Zana mod anymore. So the headhunter will be more rare that way, right? So they made it to be more rare. So probably the only way to get the headhunter is from the divination cards. Um, so just because of that, um, the best way to get your headhunter, if you're aiming to get it, right, is to get your divination cards as early as possible here, right? Because if you think everybody will start rushing for the headhunter and buying the cards, because early on they are very cheap and exalts are very cheap, and there's people have not so many chaos orbs, so all economy is so weak. So everything costs very cheaply at the beginning of the league, and later on, just prices go out of the hand, right? So be sure to buy your Headhunter divination cards early on. Right, so PvP balances. I actually haven't played most PvP myself, but I don't even know if it's been. PvP only carries no longer activate some map devices, so just basically just bleeding, ignite, poison, undergo scaling has been adjusted, right? Attack cast time for which override limits, blah blah blah. There's nothing important here. Um, so world changes. some extra quest rewards. You will be getting flask as well on top of the support gem. So the hedge maze and the plum has been moved to Imperial Gardens. So just that's just you don't have to go for the plum in the marketplace, right? So that's been reworked. So the whole quest is in one area. Because I suppose the newer players just run through everything and probably just miss the thing that they have to return that the plum and the other thing what's that called to to that Fairgraves, right? His name's Fairgraves. Jesus Christ, my brain is frying here, man. Anyway, what else here? Eh, Southern Forest, especially in Act 6, has been flashed out, so it's generating wild side areas right now. Probably didn't have any before. Uh, what else we have here? Dun, dun, dun. All right. Um, what I want to say, I forgot what I want to say. So basically, all the masters, I think, has been moved into Act 10 after you complete everything. Um, so it's probably it with that. Prophecies, right? So what about the prophecies? So rare monsters able to fulfill the requirements for unique items. Prophecies have been added to various locations throughout the world. So there's like more chance to get the opportunity to get a 6 link item, right? Is it? Yeah, I think. They provide the opportunity to obtain an item with a high enough level to be 6 link. So kinda, yeah. You're no longer required to have subject of a baited unique prophecy equipped. So that counts for some prophecy that you needed to hold a unique item. So you can hold it in your inventory right now and you'll be able to complete your prophecy that way, right? Um, Monster's treasure now completes upon opening the final strongbox in the area, and some fixes being adapted to the game. So there's a lot of them actually here. So a bug, there's a bunch of bugs here. This bunch like Ice Bite support traps, kill mine despite so the Ice Bite has been working with the traps and mines and it wasn't supposed to. Um, uh, I don't even know if I have to mention all of this because it's just a lot to take in. And if you're a newer player, that doesn't really matter. If you're not, you're probably be able to enjoy the game and some exploits being, changed. Um, some encounters, some problems with the languages, how they scaling, um, some challenges overlap. Totem life values being calculated badly for the totems. There's lots of bugs being fixed right now. So I fixed the bug where Deidre could kill herself by teleporting. That's just ridiculous, right? So things like that being changed. Some instances, right? I had myself like you get a quest from the I don't remember which master, right? So the second you open and it's crash. So this is as well it's been looked into. Um, what else there? There's actually got through everything I wanted. It's probably skipped some unique items here. Some Doomfletch, right? Some Doomfletch buff. Bow is being reworked, so it no longer provides the huge amounts of damage early on because it's low level bow. But it doesn't mean it's bad because it provided the best damage in game. Because Doomfletch, right? If you look Doomfletch, right? Doomfletch. It provided 73 this. Uh, what it does now, it provides only up to 24. So that's huge, huge reduction. So what it did here, you gain 110% of both physical damage and as extra damage of a random element on top of the 73 here, right? And the increase of elemental damage of skills. So if you were using like lightning arrow, it been it had a buff of the 24, right? Elemental damage to attack skills. And it also had really high fizz damage compared to it being level 28 bow. And on top of that, it gave you extra 110% elemental damage, right? It's just crazy. And on top of that, it had increased attack speed and crit chance. How ridiculous is that? If you got that above in like level 35, you're god, you just run through content till the level 75. So that's being changed, right? Sorry. So the buff is still really powerful. If you wanna take a look in some builds with that buff, go ahead. So there's not much more to cover here. So that's it, guys. So that's big excitement in my eyes seeing all that patch being applied tomorrow evening, or yeah, or tomorrow. No, that's 2 days after that. So yeah, 32 new maps, some quests, bunch of uniques and skill games I'm willing to try. Hmm. Just awesome, guys. Just awesome. This again, big thank you to the GGG for all that work, and see you in the next video, Exiles.